So we're starting to make a lot of progress. We've gone through the psychology of a trader. We've gone through what it takes to be successful individually, the mindset of success. We've learned about kind of a conceptual introduction to trader conditioning. Now we're going to go through 4 videos here that's going to show you the 4 steps of trader conditioning. And again, these chunks of trader conditioning are going to be the most valuable thing you can do. We're going to go through it here as an introduction, and then in the next lesson, we're going to actually get in and do the details of trader conditioning and go through it in great detail. So let me give you the introduction to the 4 steps of the process. So the process is going to look like this. We've got 4 steps, as I just said. We've got the drilling phase, speed trading, real-time virtual trading, and real money trading. So let's go through each of these. In the drilling phase, the best way I know how to relate this, analogy-wise, is to the drills that you run as a football team or as a baseball team. If you're a baseball player, you go out and you field ground balls. You do batting practice. You field fly balls. You drill the individual things that you're going to need in the overall game. And you get really focused on the individual components, and then what happens is in a game day scenario, it all starts to come together. The same thing is true with your trading. So we've learned 5 individual steps of trade confirmation, 5 various forms of analysis that are all part of technical trading. We've learned line drawing, we've learned your trend analysis, moving averages, we've learned chart patterns, candle patterns, indicators. We've learned these components. Now what we've got to do is get out of that head knowledge and get into a skill set where we actually drill it. That's what the drilling phase of trader conditioning is about. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on each aspect of the analysis. And again, the purpose is to drill that analysis and to make sure you're really doing it right. You're going to get really micro-focused on the individual component. You don't need to become obsessive like, is it perfect? You just need to start really drilling in the individual components and getting clear, like, am I doing this? Do I understand it? Once you understand it, great, we've drilled it, we can move on. But it's really important that we go turn that head knowledge into a skill set that you really understand intuitively. It becomes second nature. And realize that second nature comes from repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill. And what the drills do is they force you to repeat it over and over again. And if you'll do that, you go out and you draw lines on a couple hundred charts, you're going to be pretty good at drawing your support and resistance lines. You know, you go out and draw lines on 1 or 2 charts and think you should be an expert. Probably not. You don't quite have the skill set yet because you've not done enough repetition. You go out and you look at 400 candlesticks and pick out all the patterns. You're going to be a little bit better with your candlesticks than if you just go out and spend 10 minutes looking at some and trying to remember everything I taught you. So what the drilling does is it drills in those individual components and it helps to make it more second nature. If you're going to be a really effective trader, at some point these things have to become second nature to you. So when you see it, you say bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, dark cloud cover, double top, triple bottom, head and shoulders, flag pattern. You start to identify very quickly these individual analysis techniques that we've been talking about. Now, with that in mind, you need to understand this about the drilling phase. The drilling phase is fairly fast-paced. You can memorize the patterns. You can memorize the analysis tools very quickly. And what the drilling phase is going to do is it's going to get you ready for the more application-type scenarios. You look at a football team that's running some drills, they don't really look like they're doing much. They're just running around the field, working really hard, but you don't have organization to the plays. There's not a lot in terms of the play that's happening in the drill. You're just getting those skills out there. Now, once we get the skills in there, we can come behind it and start adding a play, and that's what we'll do in the next phase. But in this phase, all we're trying to do is drill those individual components so you can get really good at the thing that you're looking at. Now, let's talk about the documentation component. You don't need to document the drills necessarily. You can. The scientific person is probably going to want to document it. The creative person is probably not. But the benefit of documentation is you kind of see how it's working for you. I suggest if you do it, you keep it really simple. Here's my kind of basic journal. You can draw this out on a piece of notebook paper. You don't have to really even have a journal for this, but you just put your stock up here, whatever your ticker is that you're playing with. You put your date, your entry, your target, your stop. Maybe put your result in here. And you can kind of drill it like that and keep track of your progress. Again, in the drilling phase, this is not that important. In the next phase of speed trading, documentation is going to become important, but right now it's not the most important, and I really want to encourage you, don't get lost in trying to track all sorts of metrics with drilling. The key here is to just get the repetition going and start recognizing the individual components. All right, next we're going to look at speed trading, and I'm going to explain that process to you.